Welcome back to 13 News at 4. So this week is the deadline for bills to be heard in committee if there's any hope of them moving forward in the legislative process and possibly becoming a law.
A very important deadline approaching. Right now, a Senate bill dealing with domestic violence and trying to better protect survivors is still waiting to get a hearing. Our 13 News State House reporter Emily Longnecker has the latest.
The bill's author, Democratic State Senator Fady Qaddoura, told me he wrote the bill in part after meeting a couple who lost their daughter last December to domestic violence.
Inside this brightly colored room at Riley Hospital for Children sits a small closet full of robes, blankets, and children's toys. At first glance, that's all it is. But this closet has a story, both tragic and hopeful. What's inside is the reason children being treated here for some sort of trauma get to wear a warm robe instead of a scratchy hospital gown.
A lot of these kids don't have a lot when they come and have gone through a really traumatic experience. And so just to give them that little comfort and things like that just makes a huge difference.
And this woman, Jessica Stobeck, is the reason this closet exists. The fund to support it is named in her memory.
When we give our kids these things, we still think of her, you know.
Jessica worked as a forensic nurse at Riley before she died. In 2023, just a week before Christmas, Jessica's ex-husband broke into her Plainfield home and shot and killed her before taking his own life.
I think even, a year later, we're still trying to wrap our heads around.
It's the same feeling Jessica's friends and coworkers have down the street at Eskenazi Hospital, where she also worked.
She was part of the team that would come and talk about fairly traumatic parts of people's lives and, kind of how they got there.
Now, others have those same kinds of conversations in this room, named in memory of Jessica.
It's one of those things where it helps her legacy live on.
She's an amazingly strong woman.
A legacy that brings comfort to Jessica's parents.
She was a ball of life. You always knew when she was in the room, this is going to be hard.
The Stobecks say their daughter got several protection orders against her ex-husband.
He just wouldn't let go.
Court records show he repeatedly violated those protection orders over 3 years.
He just kept spiraling and nobody ever noticed.
At one point, a judge ordered him to wear a GPS monitoring bracelet. A month before Jessica's murder, a judge ruled that monitoring bracelet could come off.
She told her advocate, she said, "You can't save me."
Now, the Stobecks are hoping a proposed bill could help save others. Senate Bill 470 would require police to do a risk assessment of someone who violates a protection order, even once. It would also require a person with a previous domestic violence conviction to wear a GPS monitoring bracelet if they got out of jail after a new arrest. The bill also changes the training for police officers to include training on when they can legally take someone's guns under red flag laws if domestic violence is involved. If 470 becomes law, a judge would be required to order police to take the guns of someone convicted of domestic violence instead of waiting for the person to turn them in.
If a defendant decides to voluntarily surrender their guns, that would be ideal, but we can't rely on that as a system to protect the victims.
A system the Stobecks believe failed their daughter. A system they say needs to change, or more women like Jessica will die.
I hope you never know how we feel. I hope nobody has to go through this, but it happens every day.
Senate Bill 470 has been assigned to the Corrections and Criminal Law Committee, but so far it has not received a hearing. That committee does meet tomorrow, but Senate Bill 470 is not on the schedule. At the Indiana State House, Emily Longnecker, 13 News.